Hey, baby, don't pull on that, baby. All right, we're back with conversation number 4. We got Edie, the author of Edie Made. She's doing this awesome class named Roommate. And I'm Patty, and I have little baby Isla here, who is making a little mess and grabbing the controls and being a great little baby, right? So let's just jump into it. The good job.
Yeah,
You mentioned right before we started recording that you're the queen of saying good job.
I am.
And let's break it down a little bit. What's the deal with saying good job to kids?
All right. So I say it all the time. And um I really want to say it more with clarifying context because it's become this like catch-all phrase and it's a little bit overused, especially by me. And what
Mhm.
I want to practice more, especially with Edie Made, is um using it and say good job on and then name why you're saying it in the first place so that they don't just hear it and think that it's meaningless or have it become something that they can tune out or not really understand what they are doing that is receiving praise, because it's really important and it gives them a sense of belonging and pride to feel like they've done something specific that you noticed about
Mhm.
what they're engaging in. And so when I say I'm the queen of saying good job, I really am, but I want to be more specific and I want to encourage other people to really name how people are showing up and what's helpful or um, bringing them joy about it.
When we started talking about it, I had a couple thoughts really quickly. One of them was when you tell your kid it's great, you have to tell your kid good job. And there's certain ways and behaviors you don't want your kid to do. In the reality, it needs to come from the child, right?
Mhm.
So if by kind of me as a parent trying to control how my kid's going to behave or how they present themselves, first of all, kids are going to grow up, they're going to be who they are, uh, and so there's a certain balance of control versus let it organically come from them. And I think that I always try to say good job to my one of my sons. He acts out more than the other. My first son, he's definitely sensitive to in the appraisal. The appraise uh, is more effective with him.
Mhm.
I realize it's a different strategy with the second kid. It's just a different person.
Mhm.
And somehow when you mention that, I'm like, how how can I be a parent to let him be himself?
Yeah.
To not set, well, this is what you. There's certain things we got to brush our teeth, uh, and there's certain things you can't do. You can't kick your sister off the bed, but there, right? But do you see what I'm getting at? That I want to parent in a way where it comes from them.
Yeah.
That the good job is not doesn't have to be from dad, doesn't have to be from the teacher. It
Mm.
kind of goes into what we were saying with the last conversation was with brick in the wall, right? Okay, good
Yeah.
job. You're another brick in the wall. Um, I don't know. What do you think of that?
I think that there's a lot to dive into there because, like something that you're noticing about the kind of you have an agenda that you want your child to meet is different than you
Mhm.
notice your child thriving or
Mhm.
like those are different things. Sometimes they converge and everybody is on a feel good family movies clip.
Mhm.
But more often than not, there's a lot of challenges in the everyday, and there's a lot of disappointment that goes both ways. Like you're disappointed when your baby gets kicked off the bed, you know? Um, um, but we can always notice when there's something really, really challenging and that you see your child struggle and overcome something and you want to say, hey, I know that wasn't easy for you. um I noticed that you really tried,
Yeah.
or I noticed that you spent time making it how you wanted it to be and it didn't come out the way you thought, and I noticed that
Mhm.
you did a good job handling that. So there are more things than just overall looking at something and just saying, "Oh, good job."
Yeah, and I guess it just requires more on the parent adult. I mean, it's easy just to be like, "Hey, good job," but it's kind
Mhm.
of a surface. It's a surface comment. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you were fully resourced and like this is my experience, and I would believe that there's a lot of parents who have this experience. If I could just parent all day, you know, that'd be awesome. It'd be hard, but if I could just focus on the kids, that would be sweet. But the reality is, I can't. I have to do this, this, and this, and
Right.
this while with them with the kids. So
Mhm.
there's a certain amount of like, I'm busy. I'm busy. Oh, hey, good job. Where it's just quick and surface, but being fully present in noticing those details of why it's a good job and what it means at the moment, but also in the process of that child's, growth.
Yeah,
Uh, it requires sometimes more than you have in the moment.
right. It does. And that's why I think what you're creating is so important because, like you mentioned, um, if you're not well resourced in a moment, that you just don't have the bandwidth. So I feel like a place like Illuminate is where your bandwidth increases so that you can show up to these parenting moments in a well-resourced way. And the kids can too, because they can be with a play specialist or they can be in an Edy Make class or they can have their own needs met while their parent is being resourced. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. That is the goal. And
Mhm.
I mean, so let's say we have a ED made class, and then there's kind of that's you establish that structure of um, going beyond the simple good job,
Mhm.
right? What ways can that kind of expand outside the class?
Well, um, you might say you might ask a child like, I see that you worked really hard on this one part of your project, and you might see that they focused on a certain area. You might ask them, like, when you first started, did you know what you were going to make, or did it come about? So kind of inquire about what they were focused on, and they might open up to you about a challenge that they encountered. And then
Mm,
you could say, um, you kept working on that part even after it became frustrating to you. Or you might say you gave
mm,
yourself a break, like you stopped working on that part, and that was what you needed. Um,
yeah.
so many people think that creative resilience is about, like, keep trying on something part, but sometimes, um, the best thing to do is to take some time away, and then come back to it, and I I think that saying good job can sometimes reward, like, hey, you knew that you needed a break. That's a really good
Mhm.
job.
Yeah. So good job and why
Yeah.
you did this. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
whenever you find yourself praising, make sure to find it in yourself why you're praising that that trait. So that you can explain it.
this it's funny, like we're we're recording these as a way of communicating the class and in the space. But I also feel like these are kind of like little shots in the arm for my parenting, you know? Because it's true. You get in the habit, you get in a single habit, and as a parent, you kind of need, you just need help, or you need different perspectives, or whatever it may be. Uh, that's pretty cool. So creative resilience. I feel
Mhm.
like that could be the next Pink Floyd album.
Let's do
Creative
it.
resilience. I really like that. Talk to me. How did you get that? Did you just make that up now? Creative resilience.
Yeah, I think I might have made that up. I'm sure I've thought about it before because part of being an artist is just like the riding that wave of ups and downs, and I'm sure you experienced it in your creative endeavors, but like part of the artist cycle is like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is awful. What was I thinking?" Like that's the ride, right? And just to
Yeah.
normalize that, it takes creative resilience to know that you're in that cycle and that it doesn't stay static. You're not and, like, my favorite not my favorite thing to say, but when kids say, "I don't like what I'm making. I hate it." I say, "Yeah. I mean, I I experience that all the time. This is sometimes we don't it's okay to not like it. You don't have to like everything you do." Um,
Mhm. Yeah, you don't. In fact, how can you?
how can you?
It's not possible.
Yeah.
So my uncle is a plein air painter, and he's one of the guys who sits there on Highway 1 in
That's
Northern
awesome.
California and paints the ocean. And
Mhm.
sometimes people come up and buy the paint right off the easel from him, or buy the painting right off the easel. I went up and I painted with him for a while. The first thing he taught me was get the paint on there.
Mhm.
Don't judge it. You have to fill it up, fill with paint, and then work with it. I use that so much in so many different ways. It's just not try to be a perfectionist. Don't critique too early. Uh,
Yeah. And
that makes sense.
comparison too is a big part, like, when you start comparing the other things that you've done or to a classmate or to the teacher or that too can be really restrictive.
Yeah. How do you not compare? How's that
It's
possible?
I don't I don't think it's possible to not compare. We're just set up sort of that's what we do, but it is possible um, to know the value of difference. Like,
Mm,
thank goodness that there are different things to compare in the first place, and that's something that, over time is would be like a long-term goal of Edie Made classes is to just be accepting of a process, that comparison is part of the process, but that you don't have to be invested in the truth of a comparison. Um,
mhm.
that
But
to
so that as as a 44-year-old, I'm like, okay, I was born in 1981. I have enough life experience to wrap my head around that. How do you
Mhm.
do that for a kid? How do you do that? I don't know. What's your thought?
Yeah,
What inside the mind of a kid with that concept?
I think that starting with high-fiving for beautiful oopses is a good place to start with that because
Mm,
it begins to be like, "Hey, this didn't turn out how I planned or how I thought it would, and I'm gonna just out myself right now and be like, "Hey, I got a beautiful oops for you. I need a high five." Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good way to start in that direction of comparison.
Yeah. I have to tell an anecdotal story about
Sure.
that beautiful oops. So when we first leased this space, my mom told me, she's like, something's gonna go wrong, you know, something's gonna go wrong and you're gonna have to find a way with it, you know. So this happens with kids, it happens with adults. We all know that. We ordered all this flooring, right? Here, let's see if I can pause it. Right now the flooring is, I'm super happy it turned out this way, right? The flooring
Uh-huh.
looks this beautiful color and I had ordered this stuff that wasn't good. And when they dropped it off, the guy loaded it on the lift, and I was looking like something's not right here. That's too heavy for that thing. The whole thing broke. No, all of it fell out on the pavement, and thankfully he wasn't injured. Right, that was the first thing I told him. I'm just glad you didn't have an injury, but all the flooring was messed up, and I was, freaking out a little bit. And so that's the beauty. In the end of the day, it was a mistake, but we found a way to work with it, return the material, and made a better decision on what we have now. Uh, so that's kind of like an adult experience of the beautiful oops. But um, these experiences our kids go through, even if it's just putting on. I was watching my kids cream cheese on the bagel, and my 4-year-old, how do I do it, Dad? Um, those are his real everyday experiences, right? And I don't know. Does that make sense? Like that's our kids' lives is learning those little things, and those are the stages that they're in now. And
Mhm.
so can't be perfect. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Definitely. Thank goodness your beautiful oops, didn't hurt anyone. That's what I got from
I
your
know.
anecdote.
Yeah. Well, I know because I worked with injured workers for 12 years as a
Mhm.
medical interpreter. So I told the guy, I'm like, man, don't ever get a work injury. It's not worth it. The customer, the material, even if your boss is yelling at you, do not compromise your body, for some flooring or some customer.
Yeah.
Uh, there we go. I got to end this one a little bit early, Edie. I just got somebody coming in right now.
Well, I think it's a good time to end it.
Awesome.
So,
Thanks, Edie.
thank you for talking with me again today.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for sharing everything. Say bye, baby.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye.